Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and another review. I just got back from seeing Blacklight at the theater, so let's talk about it. Blacklight is a movie, just to give a brief synopsis, it's a movie about Liam Neeson, who is a badass. And that's that. Yeah, no, it's one of those movies, and yeah, not much more to be said on the story front or the synopsis front. My anticipation level for this movie was pretty much non-existent coming out, but it was certainly my least anticipated movie of the weekend, given that we also had Death on the Nile and Marry Me coming out. Honestly, I had glanced at the Rotten Tomato scores and saw that it was down at 6%, so that pretty much brought my interest level down to about zero. I even debated, whether or not I actually wanted to go and spend the time to go see this, but I did. I mean, I don't see all of the Liam Neeson movies that come out, so I figured, well, maybe it's not as old hat as it could be. Yeah, so let's see how it lived up to those non-existent expectations. And just going over what I liked about the film, I think the yeah, it's a pretty generic film at the end of the day. There aren't going to be a whole lot of good things to say about it necessarily. But one aspect that I liked, I thought Liam Neeson's character, they made him kind of flawed, but not in like the typical way where he just has a strained relationship with his daughter, which he does, but he also has some other issues in there, and I thought that just kind of added to his character a bit. Just some like compulsive disorder stuff that I thought made him just a bit different than your typical run-of-the-mill Liam Neeson character. Other than that, though, I thought they didn't overly use shaky cam. I at least didn't notice it. Maybe it was there and I didn't notice it, but I don't think it was there very much. Not overly doing it like something, say last month for the 355. I thought overly used it. And the last thing I'd say about the movie is it just looked clean overall. Yeah, it just had kind of the lighting was very much natural lighting, and I thought that made the movie look nice overall. Things I didn't really care for in general, it's another pretty typical run-of-the-mill movie for what you expect. This one in particular feels like an off-brand Jason Bourne without any of like the amnesia stuff to make it interesting. Basically, rogue agents and the government not wanting to comply with their ethically ambiguous or questionable programs that they're in, and then trying to expose them. So, yeah, not uninteresting, but definitely something that we've seen before. And then just one other thing, this isn't really the movie's fault, but just to point out where I went to go see it, I saw it at an AMC, just regular screen, and for whatever reason, the speaker system in there was like their subwoofer was very rattly. So this movie has a lot of bass with like the action scenes and like car chases and stuff like that. So probably 60% of the movie you just heard a rattling noise because the subwoofer was at that point in its lifespan where it was starting to kick the bucket. So that kind of took me out of the movie, which is unfortunate. But I don't think that overall greatly shaped my experience one way or the other. It's just a little unfortunate. But I mean, on the plus side for this, while the movie itself wasn't all that interesting, it wasn't terrible, but the experience of going to see it was actually pretty interesting. So about 15 minutes into the movie, we only had like five people in the auditorium total when the movie began. So very, very low packed. And about 15 minutes into the movie, a group of like 6 or 7 people come in, they sneak up to the back row, and then they just start talking audibly for like just constantly as soon as they entered. And the person sitting in the seat next to me turned around, asked them to stop talking, but they kept on talking. And I ended up getting up and going out to get one of the employees of the theater to say, hey, like we got people in there that are talking. They snuck in late to the movie. And so they came in, but they I don't know, took a look around. I think they went up and talked to them, but then left. And the people who came in late, they quieted down for a little bit, but then 5 minutes later they started talking again, just like nonstop over the movie. And it was, so I got up again and got like got the employee again, and they came back and they still didn't kick them out. And it was, I don't know, it was just interesting because I don't like, sometimes you get people talking, but the combination of them coming in late and just having a total disregard for everyone else's experience was just unfortunate to see. That people don't have better things to do with their day other than ruin other people's movie going experience. So finally, somebody in a couple rows ahead of me got up and got the employee for the third time, and on that time they kicked him out. And they left. So I don't. Yeah, it's a hard situation. This is like nothing against the employees. I'm sure they were doing what they could. You can't. I don't know if you can actually like force somebody to leave an auditorium, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like for policy wise, they could have maybe had more to do, or at least checked, because it seemed like they weren't really sure which ones they were, like who was in there and who wasn't supposed, like who had tickets and who just snuck in. But yeah, so that made the movie eventful. I mean, as far as if it's gonna happen during a movie, I'm glad it happened during that one. Uh, I think as they were leaving, one of the people shouted out that they're like, "Oh, he dies in the end," and I was like, "Well, I mean, at this point, if you're ruining the movie, then I mean, I'd rather that you spoil it and leave." But I got spoiler alert or non-spoiler alert, he doesn't die in the end. So they even had that wrong. But yeah, so that was overall, it was an interesting experience. I think one that I'll remember, but not necessarily because of the movie. Um, yeah, overall, I thought the movie was fine. I, came out of it just kind of meh on the movie as a whole, and so it's not one that I'd recommend, but I think it's like, if you are familiar, if you've seen a trailer, or you just know that it's a Liam Neeson action movie, you know what you're gonna get. So if that's what you're looking for, is a Liam Neeson action movie, that's what you're gonna get. And at this point, those just for me fall in that category. So yeah, that does it for my review for Blacklight. If you've been able to see the movie, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. If you've enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next review.